Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just a video, we did a video on filtration, not filtration really, about the rear fuel filter on the Prado. Now, this is a few things we're going to include here. It's going to be the part numbers and about the fuel filters under the bonnet for the Prados and the Hiluxes. We're also going to talk about extra filters and whether they're worth doing or not, and our experiences, what we've seen, which leads us to our beliefs. So we're going to share those with you, and I suppose we'll finish off having a look at some of these command pistons out of the injectors, because that's the facts of what you see and the evidence that water actually does get through filters, and the evidence that extra filters don't necessarily help, because we've got command pistons there that have got the corrosion, the water damage, even with the extra filters. So some vehicles with 3 filters. So what we'll do first is we'll just go through some part numbers on the Hilux, CUN 26, whatever you want to call it, N70, whatever you want to call it, 1KD FTV, right? 2005 to 2015. These fuel filters from Toyota are, I think, 35 bucks, right? So they're pretty cheap. I'd go for that, just do those. My recommendation at that price, and for the price of your fuel system here, is change it every 10,000 Ks. Hopefully that'll keep you out of trouble. If you're on a budget, you can do it less often. I don't mind if you do it every 20, 30 or 40, whatever, okay? Have a look in there and judge it, you know, by how bad it is, how black it is, how much sediment's in the bottom of the bowl. Change it once a year, change it once every 2 years, whatever you like, okay? So we'll just put that one, well, we'll just leave it there for now, it doesn't matter, we don't need to move everything around, so try and sit it so you can see the number in case you didn't get that. I don't know if you can see the others. This is the 120 Prado, okay? The under bonnet fuel filter, the genuine one. I think locally in Australia, you should be able to pick one up for about 50, 55 bucks, somewhere around there. The number, in case you can't see it, 23390 30180. Everybody should carry a spare, okay? All 3 of these, right? So basically, if you're just using your Prado or Hilux locally, then look, I'm not sure if it was the best choice of vehicle for you, you know, as far as just doing the shopping and running the kids for school and that. There's other vehicles, you know, like Klugers and stuff like that, perhaps. Just saying, you know, there's different options. If you're using the vehicle full driving or outback touring, this sort of thing, what a lot of people do, they're chasing reliability. You don't want to end up with a problem. That's why they use Toyotas, and one of the most comfortable vehicles and reliable vehicles out there. So the most important thing you can probably do on these bigger trips is carry spare fuel filters. These filters can block, and there's a pressure sensor, the light comes on and you need to change it. It's blocked, right? And there's more chance you're going to get bad fuel out there. So my recommendation is carry the spare fuel filters. If you don't use them on the trip, then you change it when you get back, and then that'll put you with a once a year sort of change. If you sort of do maybe a big trip once a year or whatever, you know, when you know, some people do a big trip once a year, you know, if you do it twice a year, just change it after your biggest trip once a year. That's usually about the sort of Ks I'd recommend. With these under bonnet ones for the Prados, I normally say every 40,000 Ks, because we've got that rear one there and it does a lot of cleaning the fuel pre-filtration for these, okay? So carry those as spares. We're going to really keep little or limited stock, so if you're booking into the Prado Hospital for a service, getting any work done, we're happy to show you how to change the filters so that you don't need to pay us to do it, and then you're able to do it on trips. Worst case scenario, that happens, you're hopefully equipped. We've got that in other videos as well, so like I always say, have a look at those. This is for the 150 Prado, probably the same filter, we'll get to that. This is the number, 23390 30350. So that's for your 1KD in the 150 Prado. Different number for the one in the 1GD. We're not doing that at the moment, so this is the 1KD stuff. But rest assured, all your injector, Denso Injector information is more or less the same. So it's not like the 1GDs have got some sort of bulletproof injectors. They're a lot better, just like the last of the 1KDs. You know, they're developed over time. They always make changes and get better, and they will still continue to do so, obviously. until diesel's dead and gone and we're all in electric cars because of the CO2 emissions, etc. You know about that, you know, global warming and all that, and, you know, up to you whether you believe it or not, or whether you believe in the you know, the normal cycle, whatever. I'm not sure there's enough evidence to know for sure, but then I'm not the scientist, you know. That's another topic, isn't it? So back to this. There's your fuel filters. Now, a lot of people want to go and fit extra fuel filters. That's fair enough. A lot of diesel places or people will recommend that. And I suppose traditionally it's the thing that was recommended. And in theory, of course, it's not going to hurt normally to do so. It does hurt sometimes, we'll get to that, but not, you know, with your traditional injection systems and adding a 30 or 20 or 10 micron filter sort of thing, generally doesn't really cause any issues. But a few facts to remember from our friends that we service their vehicles that drive tankers or you know, build servos or take servos down. Obviously we gather information, knowing people work in fuel suppliers and all sorts of places. The information we've gathered is that on the pump there should be a 30 micron filter. So there usually is, but some servos there may not be. They can take it off and bypass that. If it becomes blocked all the time, you know, when the pump goes slow and then they've got to call up and get someone out to change it, can be expensive. So some servos in some places, we're not going to name anywhere, may just not have that filter there. So you've kind of got your 30 micron pre-filter. So I would say it's a waste of time putting one of those on. I wouldn't bother with a 20 either. If I was going to put one, I would agree that a 10 micron pre-filter before these is the go, with the water separator there. And I'm not saying that it would work, we'll get to that. But at least then if it worked, you may see some water in there and you've still got your light on your dash, your alarm, and your next filter. So hopefully the water's getting caught back at that pre-filter. Now the problem you got is, you know, at the four-wheel drive shows and places, trade shows, where they've got the extra fuel filters set up on the stand showing you how it works separating the water, that's all well and good, but in the vehicle it's on corrugated roads a lot of the time getting shaken up. So there's probably a good reason there that explaining why it probably doesn't work. So with our injector kits, we provide a free contamination check if you send back the old injectors, and we strip those down and have a look at the internal parts, the main one being the command piston. And it's very low percentages we see the corrosion from water contamination. But a quick fact on, okay, so here's a few. So this is the sort of percentages, you know, this is just a few we put out to have a look at. And out of those, I don't know, what's there? 10, 20, 30, I don't know, there's maybe 100 there, I'm just guessing, I don't know. You know, they sort of go out here a bit out the side with the first row. But there's about 10 there, roughly. I'm not counting, roughly. And they've all got water contamination of some sort. Half of them are probably worse. And even the full DLC ones, you can see. So this one's not. That's a pretty bad one. I'm not sure how well you can see if this ends up being a 4K video. We may zoom in and have a look if you sit tight, but we'll get to that. Definite contamination there. And this one also, which is a full DLC one. But that area there is not DLC coded, right? Because that part, it doesn't really matter is the point there, that part there. It's just where you see the contamination. It means, the point I'm trying to make is water's been through the injectors, so water does go through filters, and plenty of vehicles, okay, so the sort of people that look after their vehicles and replace their injectors as prevention and make sure they get it done right, so they contact me, get their injector kits, get me to do it, or get one of our recommended repairers to do it that can do the job right the first time. A lot of these people have got extra fuel filters. A lot of them don't because they listen to me. I'm pretty well saying you don't need one. It's not going to help you. But a lot of the people do, and therefore that's allowed us to have a little bit of R&D, we'll call it. And water has got through all three filters, if you like, and got to the injectors. So spending a few $100, your wallet's not really going to be happy with you because you spent a few $100 on a fuel filter, and I'm not sure what you're going to get for it. You know what I mean? We see vehicles with only these filters changed regularly and looked after, running at hundreds of thousands of Ks, and I'm not saying it's okay to leave it this long, hundreds of thousands of Ks on original injectors. We've seen them in 200s, we've seen them in 300s, we have seen them at 400,000 Ks with original injectors and running pretty well. We've also seen them at 200 odd thousand running not so well either. So look, I can't explain some of those miracle ones that do that. We base our information on our experiences based on averages, and you know, we recommend ballpark replacing them. You know, there's a lot of different vehicles. There's the early ones, the later ones, so it varies, but the 7 years is probably the best guide, and about 170k. Now all the older ones, let's talk about, I'm not talking about 05, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11s, because they're very old. They should all be done. Let's not talk about it. Don't waste time on diagnostics. They need to be changed. Everything else is about 9 years old. A lot of them are pre-DLC. That's this part here. That's, see, it's not DLC coded, and all the dark coloured ones are, right? So there is some DLC ones getting replaced. You can see majority not. It's just in this picture anyway, I suppose. But the nozzle needles are still wearing, even on the DLC coded ones. Eventually they get noisy, this sort of thing. So the information we give you based on averages, and it's probably a better indication than diagnostics. I've explained that before as well with the 09 onwards, different software, different injectors, and there's not usually a lot to see. Still do your diagnostic in case there is something to see. But this one isn't about diagnostics, it's about the fuel filters, okay? Now, if you, look, just soon as I mentioned injector kits, if you do want to contact me or buy injector kits or whatever, the way to contact me is send me a text message. I'm very busy, so I can't just take calls, you know, thousands of people trying to ring me, whatever. I can't take the calls, so it's not going to happen. You really need to text me, is the best way. My priority is providing service for, you know, if you want to make those few kit purchases that we supply or book in for work, or you've got a really technical problem that that I'm interested in trying to help you solve and nobody else or you haven't been able to solve. But before you do contact me or text me, please search the YouTube channel, those words for information. Search those Facebook groups. Now whip the page out again, I'll just show you quickly. These are most of the most important, you know, the Facebook groups, right? And also the other thing I'll touch on is at the bottom there, client only group, VIPs. People text me, how do I join that? How you join it is just like any other Facebook group. You search groups, you put the name in, it was just there on the piece of paper, 4x4 diesel VIP, same as the YouTube channel, and you answer the questions and I'll see, yep, that's you. It's a personalised service. Once you text me, please include your name, your vehicle details, where you are, what you are after. I store your number. We don't do numbers here, we do names. So once your name's there, we know who you are. We're going to have a personalised service going on and we can provide the right information. When you join the group, you put your name there because that's what it asks, and bada bing, bada boom. If I can't, I'll remember. If I can't, a quick look at the phone, there it is, and yep, that's what you did. So that's why it's all related around the phone. We don't use Messenger. Okay, and just in case you missed it, I only work school hours. So that's in Melbourne, Victoria, school hours, okay? There's plenty of other things to do outside the 9 till 3, which is why I say all inquiries, for whether it's sales, whatever, best done in those times, best done in a text, and best done on Mondays. If Monday's a public holiday, then Tuesday's the next best day. If you're not in a hurry, you can text me anytime you like during school hours, right? And I will get back to you, right? So you can try and call me. The phone doesn't even ring after hours. It doesn't ring. It's on do not disturb because I'm busy getting other things done. So it's not even going to ring. You really need to text me is the only way to get through. And then if I call you, please, you need to answer. If that's, you know, if you're trying to get a hold of me, that's kind of like you need to prioritize. So back on the filters, we're going way off topic now, haven't we? But anyway, at least you know how to contact me now and what time. Okay, so as I said already, with Injector Kit, we do a free contamination check. It's wise to do so because if you're spending thousands of dollars on injectors, you don't want to be having fuel, water in your tank with your fuel still. You want to know about it. And then, so get them back to me ASAP so you can find out. You know, it's very rare. It's probably not going to happen, I'll say, right? All the ones, I don't think we've found water, in the last 12 months, I don't think we've found water. So it's very rare. So hopefully that gives you some confidence. But for the sake of 13 or 15 bucks, whatever it is, to put them in a little red bag and send them back, it's worth it, absolutely, right? So don't be lazy on that one for your own good. There's your fuel filter part numbers, extra fuel filters. Okay, so a lot of people, it's been really popular over the last few years to go down to a 2 micron filter. Okay, now the information we have on these filters here, we'll give you that first. Okay, so companies like Ryco get these filters and they reverse engineer them, copy them, test them, see what they do. And apparently these filters are all about the same, and they're all about 6.5 micron, so nominal, right? So that's like 5 to 8. So people go, oh, they're a 5 micron. Not necessarily right, okay? It varies. So 5 to 8, and that's obviously when it's new. Now, every filter's different. They all have flow rates and efficiency ratings and all sorts of things, right? So there's a lot of different quality there. I'm not telling you to use these genuine filters, okay? I believe pretty safe bet using those. It's probably a good idea. But if you do your research and you know better brands, look forward to seeing in the comments from people with experience that absolutely know better brands. Okay, if it's a brand that we've seen issues with and we don't agree, we can't have comments there misleading people. So if you put a comment that we don't agree with because we've seen 10 or high percentages or something, that's where we don't allow comments, because if we leave it there, although if you want to have your opinion, that's good, but not if it's different to a lot of other experiences we've had, if you know what I mean. Let's just go off topic for a minute. Let's say you don't like supercharged batteries or something like that. Yeah, say you reckon they're great. If we've seen heaps of them fail, we're not going to allow positive information saying, oh, these batteries are good, try one of these on our information. I hope you understand what I mean, because other people are going to read it and then get misled, okay? And our channel and our pages are our experience. Now, what I'm saying is, it's up for discussion. Happy to see information from other people. If we don't know about it, or it sounds about right, yeah, that's cool, no dramas. Yeah, at least over 90% of comments, we'll leave there, it's all good. But if someone's promoting something that we know is rubbish, or it seems they're coming from a business perspective just to go, whatever, then that's not what we're there for. We're not there for you to push your products and product links, okay? So please understand that. What else can I tell you? I told you about that. So extra fuel filters, 2 micron, that's what I was getting to. We used to have a lot of people contacting us with problems of stalling and hard to start type issues, okay? And you know about the suction control valve, so we'll just touch on that quickly. All the earlier vehicles have got the compact type, the short one we call it. It's like 05, 06, 7, 8, to around 09. They changed about then. There's a few hit and miss. You can't even do it by VIN number because you've got to look at it. If it's short, you need a new one. We can supply you one of those. We've got them in stock. Send me a text. I will contact you. No problem. Now, all the other, I'll just touch on it as well. All the other small bits and pieces like an EGR gasket or a map filter and whatever, we don't sell those separate. We're not here as a massive parts business. We just have a website and sell parts and filters and everything. We don't do that. It's just a few things. Watch the other videos if you don't know what I'm talking about. 2 micron is also another cause of stalling and hard to start. We've had vehicles hard to start, absolutely. We've heard about a lot of them from people, hard to start and stalling. When people bypass those 2 micron filters, problem solved, okay? So I just want to put that out there as well. On top of the filters not really necessarily, in theory, I get it in theory, you can go, these are the tolerances in here and, they're 1 or 2 microns, whatever, and the filter's 5, doesn't make sense. I completely agree, but that's what Toyota did, and it works because we've seen vehicles with hundreds of thousands of Ks. Injectors are worn at those sort of Ks, absolutely, right? Shouldn't be left that long, but the point is, without the extra filters, and it works. We see people spending hundreds of dollars in brackets and mucking around in hoses here and there, rubbing around, changing it away from being a genuine, reliable Toyota to do these things. They think they're doing the right thing, and it just causes problems. So, in my opinion, don't bother with the extra fuel filter. But if you've got one, I know some people, know better. That's cool. You've got different experience. That's fine. So you can do whatever you like. Happy to hear what brands of extra fuel filter you've got there, and by all means, quality brands of these aftermarket filters. So if people know the replacement for a 180 is, like Ryco, it's a Z699 for the 180 and for the 350. Now, if they provide the same part number for both filters for the same engine, so it's the same fuel system, it's basically the same engine, the same pump, same Denso injectors, more or less, they're the same but different. A different filter, but it looks the same, it screws on the same, everything else is the same, and the aftermarket suppliers supply the same. That means it's the same rating, it's the same filter, right? So I'm not going to tell you that this one's $30 cheaper and you should fit this one to your 150 Prado, right? But you can do that if you like, because as I said, reverse engineered from the aftermarket. Go and check all your aftermarket part numbers, right? Check out Prado 120. Check out what part number it is for whatever brand filter you want. Check out the Prado 151. And you tell me if it's the same. And if they're all supplying the same, does that not tell you the same if they reverse engineered it? Absolutely. Anyway, guys, that pretty well covers what we wanted to tell you. As I said, if you're booking in your car, bring your own filters if you like. That's a good thing, because you've got your spares in your car and you want to turn them over anyway. You don't want them sitting there for 5 years. Bring them in once a year, whatever. We'll show you how to change it. You can do it yourself next time, save some money. Ask when you're booking in. So when you text me and I call you or text you back, ask about, well, let's have a chat. I'll probably call you and we'll have a chat about it, okay? Monday, Tuesday's the best days, but do what you got to do between school hours, no problem. We've got plenty of other stuff to get done. So of course, school holidays, we're on holidays. Of course, spending time with the kids, and sometimes a little bit extra. So if you need an injector kit or something urgently, or any parts really, plan well in advance. If some school holidays are anywhere in the near future, don't sort of, we're really quick with our parts. So if you were to call today, pay today, we send today, you have it tomorrow. So that's how quick it happens. But you know, if we're not around, it's a bit hard to do. So you don't know that, but I'm just trying to give you the heads up. Free contamination check, sending the old injectors back. There's a bunch of info on fuel filters. I hope that's helped. If you haven't already, subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss out. And please go back and have a look at a lot of the older videos. Go and search fuel filters, air filters, whatever, because there's a lot of other info there. I've gone on for 21 minutes so far. A lot of people have already got most of that, but I hope you got something new out of it as well. I'm trying to cover for new people and of course experienced people as well. So it's a bit of a hard one, but we'll do the best we can. Once again, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your support. See ya.